development and progress made no dent on the rounded sleep of China. Came Japan and her victory over Russia in 1904. Now, the Japanese race was the freak and paradox among Eastern peoples. In some strange way, Japan was receptive to all that the West had to offer. Japan swiftly assimilated Western ideas and digested them, and so capably applied them that she suddenly burst forth, full panoplied, a world power. There is no explaining this peculiar openness of Japan to the alien culture of the West. As well might be explained any biological sport in the animal kingdom. Having decisively thrashed the great Russian Empire, Japan promptly set about dreaming a colossal dream of empire for herself. Korea she made into a granary and a colony. Treaty privileges and vulpine diplomacy gave her the monopoly of Manchuria. But Japan was not satisfied. She turned her eyes upon China. There lay a vast territory, and in that territory were the hugest deposits of iron and coal in the world, the backbone of industrial civilization. Given natural resources, the other great factor in industry is labor. In that territory was a population of 400 million souls, 1/4 of the total population of the earth. Furthermore, the Chinese were excellent workers, while their fatalistic philosophy, or religion, and their stolid nervous organization constituted them splendid soldiers, if they were properly managed. Needless to say, Japan was prepared to furnish that management. But best of all, from the standpoint of Japan, the Chinese was a kindred race. The baffling enigma of the Chinese character to the West was no baffling enigma to the Japanese. The Japanese understood the Chinese character as we could never school ourselves nor hope to understand. The Japanese thought with the same thought symbols as did the Chinese, and they thought in the same peculiar grooves. Into the Chinese mind, the Japanese went on, where we were balked by the obstacle of incomprehension. They took the turning that we could not perceive, twisted around the obstacle, and were out of sight in the ramifications of the Chinese mind where we could not follow. They were brothers. Long ago, one had borrowed the other's written language, and, untold generations before that, they had diverged from the common Mongol stock. There had been changes, differentiations brought about by diverse conditions and infusions of other blood, but down at the bottom of their beings, twisted into the fibers of them, was a heritage in common, a sameness in kind that time had not obliterated. And so Japan took upon herself the management of China. In the years immediately following the war with Russia, her agents swarmed over the Chinese Empire. 1,000 miles beyond the last mission station toiled her engineers and spies, clad as coolies, or under the guise of itinerant merchants or proselytizing Buddhist priests, noting down the horsepower of every waterfall, the likely sites for factories, the heights of mountains and passes, the strategic advantages and weaknesses, the wealth of the farming valleys, the number of bullocks in a district, or the number of laborers that could be collected by forced levies. Never was there such a census, and it could have been taken by no other people than the dogged, patient, patriotic Japanese. But in a short time, secrecy was thrown to the winds. Japan's officers reorganized the Chinese army. Her drill sergeants made over the medieval warriors into 20th century soldiers, accustomed to all the modern machinery of war, and with a higher average of marksmanship than the soldiers of any Western nation. The engineers of Japan deepened and widened the intricate system of canals, built factories and foundries, netted the empire with telegraphs and telephones, and inaugurated the era of railroad building. It was these same protagonists of machine civilization who discovered the great oil deposits of Chunsan, the iron mountains of Wangsing, the copper ranges of Qinchi, and they sank